don't forget. Hi, Anne-Marie. Hi. Yes. Hello. So we have a lot to get through. We've got a lot of information, so I hope you've all got your notepads and pens. I thought I'd just put that reminder in the group to bring a notepad and a pen, because there's so much you might want to get down tonight. So we're going to start off with Andy. And Andy, as you know, those of you that have been on our Zooms every week will know that Andy and Janine have been building up a really good customer base with presenting it, just handing the catalogues to the customers at the door. So Andy's going to give us some tips, so that we can all go out and just do it in the most easy way possible, because obviously they've gone through it all now and they're realizing what works and what's helping them. So Andy's going to take you through that. He's also got some really exciting slides to share about network marketing, which I think's really, they're really interesting. It just shows what we've got hold of with this business. So that's going to be really good. And then at the end, for the last 5 to 10 minutes, we have Charlie, who is going to just share a quick tip with us all about downloading videos, because I know there's some amazing videos on offer with Oriflame, and it's much better obviously to post the video to your Facebook and your Instagram rather than a link to YouTube or wherever the video is. So Charlie's going to show us a quick tip for actually being able to grab hold of those videos and download them so that we can just use them. So that'll be fun too. So we'll just kick off with a little bit of recognition if anybody has any, if they want to share anything first of all. Hi Dale, all the way from sunny Spain.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
It's very warm.
I've heard how warm it is. I think it's a bit of a heat wave, isn't it? I know it's warm anyway, but I think, is it a bit warmer than usual?
A gal come across, Jackie rang and said, was it windy? I said no. And then I put some washing out. 20 minutes later, it was bone dry. It's like a hairdryer. It's coming from the Sahara, this wind.
Oh, wow.
But I had to shut all my windows because it's so warm.
Yeah.
It really is, really. I've never had anything like it before.
No, I've not witnessed it before. Cool.
We used to get them in Tenerife. It was the Kalimas and Siroccos from the Sahara, bringing the sand in with it as well.
We get the sand quite a lot here. We get a lot of sand dumps, but this is just like a hairdryer.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can describe it, on hot.
Yeah.
Really blowing. So I've been laying in the pool.
Oh, tough times.
Yeah, that's all you need, a nice cool pool to jump into. Oh, well, we've just been saying how stuffy it is here, but we've not got the sun, so we've got the stuffiness and the heat without the nice sunshine.
Well,
anyway. Oh.
I saw Andy's on, just to say, Andy, I got you a link and I've sent everything back.
Okay, thanks for that. Still doesn't work.
Oh.
Okay.
That's all right. We'll get it sorted.
Yeah, it looked good. Worked all. Yeah.
So yes, if anybody has got anything they want to share before we start, feel free, or if not, we'll just go straight into Andy.
Right.
You go then.
Is that a cue for me? Right. So, and I can share screen. So, in fact, in theory, it's all over to me, is it? Whoa.
Yes.
Exciting stuff. Let's see how far I can mess this up then. Right.
Got you.
Thanks everyone. Yeah, I'm chatting to Adele over the weekend. She asked me if I could just do a little bit of an update as to what we're doing with the presenting of the catalogues. So just as a preempt to what I'm going to do, we think catalogues are great because it suits how we do things. I'm not the best at social media, but we're still getting there and learning and trying. And there might be people on here who are thinking, well, I'm not really fancying the idea of getting catalogues out. But hey, here's the interesting thing is, if you're looking to team build, there's a fair chance somewhere you might recruit somebody who will want to get some catalogues out. That's just the same for us. Recruiting somebody who doesn't want to get catalogues out, wants to really focus on social media. So we've got to get a handle on that so we know where to direct people to find out how to and best practice and so on and so forth. So even if you're not going to get the catalogues out yourself, it's worth having an idea of how it works so you can at least tell other people how to do it. And probably with a bit of luck in this campaign, we'll have created a short video on actually showing, knocking on the door and actually doing it, so people can see how easy it is. And I'm just creating a little website purely for presenting catalogues with useful stuff on there, so people can direct, if people want to use that, and just use their website for information about presenting catalogues, because I don't think there's anything else anywhere else about it, then feel free. So as soon as we've done all that, we'll make it available to anyone who wants to pinch that and have a look at that. But right, I'm just going to screen share. Oh, yes, it's working. Fantastic. Right, let's just get on to slideshow. Bear with. Right, all I've done is to start with, I've just put together 10 tips. Where we're at personally with presenting, what we've done is try to create a 90-day plan, not really for existing brand partners, but for people who join first time round, who want something to aim for, to create a customer base afresh. Because I know a lot of people here have got customers they brought from previous life over, and they've just amazingly, they've just come across like a duck to water, ordering from Oriflame, and added to that as well. So this is really for somebody who's looking to do it from a ground floor start, and aiming to get as quickly as possible a good number of customers to give them a good chunk of business every campaign. So the 90-day plan is geared towards getting 90 customers, basically. So you end up with 30 customers a week that you can then drop catalogs to really quickly, really easy, and then service those customers. So here are some tips. So if anybody wants to ask questions, either chip in as we go through it or maybe wait to the end. But I would recommend, having now done this, is present a minimum of 15 per session. So what I mean by a session is just going out and doing the knocking on the door. Takes about an hour to hour and a half to present 15, to give you a bit of an idea timescale wise. Now that's not to say you can't do 30 or 45 or 50 in one go. It's totally up to you. But we find the most comfortable way for us is to do 15 per session. It works anytime. There's no real bad time to do it, other than the school run, when it tends to be a bit manic or a lot of people aren't in. So we're avoiding between 2:30 and maybe 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock, something like that. So mornings do work really well. Tea time works well. Saturday mornings work well. And obviously you're going to get different reactions at different times of the day, like Saturday mornings. Oh, a bit of background noise there. Somebody can just mute themselves. Can you do that?
Okay.
That's it. Well done. Yeah. So Saturday mornings, there's a good chance you're going to find guys in as opposed to the lady of the house. That's just the way it is, and guys tend to, in the main, say no. My favourite time, although it's not, you know, they all work, but my favourite time is in the mornings. Doing it from 10:30 onwards. That just works nicely for us. But there's no bad time other than school runs. Now, here's one of the biggest tips that I can share with you, is the speed at which you can do this, because you can do this two ways. You can knock on every single door and wait 15 seconds for someone to open the door, and what you're going to do is waste a huge amount of time. There's lots of clues when you're going to each house to give you an idea that somebody's going to be in or not in, especially in the summer. If all the windows are shut, and it's obviously hot, all the windows are shut, no car on the drive, and gut feel is nobody's in, walk straight past. If there's a car on the drive, there's a window open, knock. Now that might not suit every particular area, but as a rule of thumb, that works really well. We switched to doing that very quickly, and it made a massive difference at the speed at which we went through roads. Now the thing is, you're making a note of this as you're going round, because what you're looking to do is to go back to a different time when people are likely to be in. So if people are out at work during the day, chances are that they may be in sort of tea time onwards or over the weekend. So you're looking to go back to them at some point. But when you're getting going, if somebody's obviously not in and the gut feel is they're not in, move on by very quickly. Here's another tip that we're just getting our head round. There's a lot of people out there have got those ring type bells on their front door where they've linked up to their phone. So you can ring the bell and they're looking at their phone saying, I don't know, I'm not answering to this guy stood at the door holding something in his hand, and they completely ignore you. So what we've done is we started knocking on the door, and people open the door. They don't get to see you on their phone or their computer. And that has made a little bit of a difference as to the number of people coming to the door. So we're ignoring the ring type of doorbell. Really important. No need for a sales pitch when you're actually doing this. It's just really, really simple. You're just saying something along the lines of, "Hi, Andy, just dropping off the latest Oriflame catalogue." And as you're doing it, you're starting to hand it over to them. Quite often they take it to look at. And we say something like, "Have you heard of Oriflame?" Now, those that say they have, and they the big smile on the face, and they usually go into a little chat about, "Oh, we used to see that years ago." And invariably they say, "Oh yeah, I'd like to have a look at that." If they've never heard of Oriflame, we just say something like, "It's a Swedish skincare cosmetic beauty catalogue. Products are fantastic, not tested on animals, and it's all natural ingredients. Would you like to have a browse?" And obviously some people say, "Oh yes please," some people no. Once they've taken the catalogue, we then point to somewhere near the front door. Could be a flower pot, could be somewhere there, and we say, "Look, just do me a favor," and we show them the tomorrow slip on the catalogue pack and say, "Can you just pop it out for us to pick up tomorrow morning, and then we'll collect it. Is that okay?" And they say yes, because what you're doing is you're getting that into their brain, bit of subconscious, so they think, "Oh, I've got to look at it tonight, and I've got to put it out by the front door in the morning." And that invariably works on most of the catalogues. We always use tomorrow slips. Don't use slips that are, Tuesday, Wednesday, next week. Any length of time that's going to increase the chance you're not going to get an order. People are going to lose the catalogue, cover it up with newspapers or magazines, and it'll disappear. Tomorrow gives them plenty enough time to look at it, but it also gives them a deadline, a sense of urgency to actually check it out later that evening. You get loads of people who do look from inside their lounges to see who you are. So dress smart, casual. I'm sure everybody does, but if you're not, then people are going to know, and they're going to think, "Oh, I'm not going to open the door to that guy." One key is to represent to lookers, because really important that you keep good records. So we have a notebook as we go around, just keeping records as we're going around doing the presenting. So we're obviously taking a note if somebody says no, somebody says yes, and when we go back, we pick up the catalogue and we make a note as to whether it's not been looked at or looked at. So you can tell by the way the catalogue's put back in the bag, or clearly not looked at all. Now, with a bit of trial and error, we've worked out, for us, the best practice is to represent to lookers. So somebody who's had it once, instead of just dropping the catalogue second time, is to present it again. And what we found is that by presenting it again, the next time when you pick it up, there's a much stronger chance you're going to get an order. And the latest batch of lookers that we did, instead of getting their normal 1 and 2 orders out of 10 presented, we've now got between 3 and 4 who ordered out of presented to the lookers. So lookers are carrying on presenting that pattern. So really important to represent it to lookers, because you're also going to eliminate some of the original lookers as well. And what you're looking to do is to get a response from every house in a road, so you know somebody's either wanting it, not wanting it, or become a customer at some point. So you eliminate, in a good way or a bad way, you eliminate everybody in a road, and you keep that record maybe as a spreadsheet, or we call it a street sheet. So you've profiled a whole road. So it might take a while to do that, but once you've done it, you've got yourself pretty much everybody who's likely to order in a road, and they're going to become a really strong customer base going forward. So anybody got any questions with any of those? Is that sort of fairly useful, fairly it's fairly easy to understand? Is that okay with everyone? Yeah, I see a thumbs up from Stuart.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Stuart. Now.
Some great tips
Yeah,
there.
cool.
How many times do you go to people if they've looked at it then? Like,
well, here's the thing, this is the bit that we're moving away from what we used to do. Is if we've got somebody who when we pick it up from the first time we presented it and they've not looked, then we're not going back. Right. If they've looked, go back and we represent it, knock on the door again. And doing that, if they for the second time said they want to have a look at it, that I think is producing a better response in terms of placing an order. We're beginning to prove that with the number of orders per presenting that we're getting out of that. So we're moving on. This is kind of combining what we used to do back in the day with the old business with obviously something new. So so that we're now beginning to find this is working much better, because the object of the exercise is to do this as quickly and efficiently as possible to get your 90 customers, if you like. So we're not going down the route of just chucking catalogs out, you know, for the next 7 campaigns on the hope that someone's going to order. We've been very proactive in finding those customers. So that's working with a small number of catalogs. And the reason we're doing that is because it's doable for people starting from day one in terms of having maybe working with, say, 30 or 40 catalogs a campaign, rather than hundreds and hundreds of catalogs a campaign. So I think that just makes sense to me in terms of cost and also efficiency, and it's doable. It's doable. Yeah, does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, cool. One other tip, just going to move on to the next slide, if I can. There we go. Is I might have mentioned this before, and it's something I never used to do, was to make sure I got from every customer a phone number. But Janine gave me a big old kick up the backside and said, "You've got to do this because you're inefficient if you don't." All right, thank you. Fair enough, Janine. Is to get the phone number, and what we found so easy is highlight the phone number on the order form. And invariably everybody then fills out the phone number. But what it allows you to do is numerous things. One is, instead of putting a note through to say thank you for the order, you can send them a text, and that's ever so easy to do. So you can do all of that once you've got home and just send out all the text. And there's a message we use. Hi, yeah, just a quick message to say thank you for your order form, your Oriflame order. Delivery will be around 10 days time. We will contact you when ready to pop round with your order. Happy to take cash or card, Janine and Andy. And just leave a Linktree link there for them if they want to click on it. But what it also allows you to do, once you've captured their phone number, is you can text them when you're ready to deliver the order. I've just been doing that today, doing loads of deliveries. And invariably, we worked out by texting everyone when they're going to be in, so that saves a lot of to in and throw in. But the other thing we're going to start playing with now, because we've got their phone numbers, is we're in a position, because we're dropping a catalogue just as a, you know, they just get for a customer base, for instance, so we leave it just a little bit longer than tomorrow with a customer base, because we've got more control over it. Is we can text people the day or the evening before we pick up the catalogue to say, just a gentle nudge to remind you to pop the catalogue outside. That works. We can also, during the campaign, if there's any offers, we can actually text them with offers that they might not see in the catalogue. So you're beginning really to build up that communication with them alongside, you know, just the traditional way of getting a catalogue out. So you can do so much more with that customer going forward. So there's lots of value out of getting that phone number. It makes a big difference. And you know, so just that one little thing, it's amazing how one little thing can open up all sorts of other things when building this customer base. But the nice thing is, I think once you've got this customer base built, it then allows you to start introducing so many other things like VIP customer, chatting about Novage, samples, so many other things once you've got these customers. You know, we're saying use 90 days to do it, to get 90 customers. You know, if time doesn't allow you to do as much as you need to do that, it doesn't really matter, because if you just keep going, you will build 90 customers. And I think that's a really good solid customer base that's going to give you £400, £500, £600 every campaign in orders, and it's really, really manageable. So highly recommend it. So even if you're not going to do it yourself, have a bit of an understanding of it, so you can then share it with people who come on board in your teams as they grow over the next years and so on. There you go. So that's me done on my first bit. So feel free if you want to ask a question or two.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andy. Really good.
That's all right. And I say, what we're going to do, we're going to do a little video, YouTube video of knocking on the door so people can get a feel vibe as to how we do it. And it is so easy to do, trust me. And we're creating a little bit of a website with some useful stuff on it, downloads and some of the things we use, day slips and other stuff that people can use. So once I've done it, I'll add it up to the Freedom team and the rest of the teams in there to pinch if you want. So entirely up to you. There you go. So that's my first bit done. So I keep going, Adele.
Let's keep going, Andy. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
All right, just take a slurp of my gin. Right. Oh, it's something I saw the other day. I thought this was really cool, food for thought, because you can apply this to every part of the business. And one of the things about presenting is that you do have down moments when you're presenting because you think this is not going how it should do. So that's the real world. However, we have kept really good records, and every time we've put out 15 catalogs, we have picked up an order. So it's pretty consistent. But there are moments when you think you've gone round to pick up all your catalogs and you've got no orders, nobody's looking, and suddenly the very last one, there's an order. And it's really just works. Funny how it works like that. But this I thought struck home because it so relates to what we do. Whenever you feel bad, just remember that Coca-Cola only sold 25 bottles in the first year. So never give up, because around the corner could be zillions. And it's just a case of hanging in there. And as long as you've got the belief, and as long as you're doing what you need to do and doing the right things, it's amazing how suddenly it just starts to take off. So I just thought I'd share that one. Right. Something completely different. Why network marketing? Network marketing is an incredible industry, an incredible business. But I think it's worth having a bit of an understanding as to what network marketing is about in relation to the business world, and why it's such a good opportunity and a fantastic way of getting into some sort of business. Back in the day when I was a civil servant, I was itching to get out of civil service. Looked at all sorts of different things to escape. Wasn't even the 9 to 5. The more I worked, the more it gave us. Didn't pay us anymore, and I just wanted to take a complete left turn. But I had to find something that wasn't going to be too risky to get into, that would allow me to leave the civil service. So we looked at loads of things, but one of the things I was really looking for was something that could give me a bit of a residual income or a passive income. So for me, back in the day, I was looking to start getting into business, but also creating a residual passive income, maybe for life. And to begin with, I wasn't quite sure where that was going to come from, and just obviously doing a little bit of research and looking at things and trial and error, we found out one or two things about creating income. One thing that we came across right at the beginning was what is a residual income? Well, residual income is like a walkaway income. So it's like earning interest on money in the bank. You get paid whether you get out of bed or not. And there's a real good example here. We found this in a book somewhere. And this is a real good example. Is if you got 5% interest on savings. Now, I think you might be lucky if you get 1 at the moment. But if you got 5%, to earn £200 a month, you'd have to have £48,000 in the bank. I don't know how many people have got £48,000 in the bank right now, but I would say at the moment, at the current interest rates, you probably would need to treble that to earn £200 a month. So you need a lot of money to get a residual income, and most people haven't got that. We didn't back in the day, for sure. So there had to be other ways of achieving this residual income. So you can become a best-selling author, like Adele, best-selling author, and make a fortune from her fantastic books. You can, but there are some people out there who are billionaires now who write books and they sell. But you have to be quite good at doing it. For me, I couldn't write for toffee, so I was never going to be an author. Best-selling pop star, I probably had more chance of becoming a best-selling pop star than an author, but not a lot of chance. But if you're a really good pop star, you get a limited period of time in which you make passive income, residual money on the sales of your records that are ongoing. Invent a game show, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So the guy who created that, he sold it all over the world, and he's got a residual income coming back from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So it's make it once and it sells forever, maybe. But there's nothing out there that I could have done for that. And I think the vast majority of people, unless you're super talented, you're not going to be able to do something. So the other way is to create a business, a bit like Dragon's Den. So create your own business. So to create your own business, whether it's a product or a service, you've got to come up with an idea. So you can either create an idea for yourself, and you've seen so many wacky ideas that go up onto the Dragon's Den, where somebody's looking for a big investment, £100,000, and the Dragon's input to help them launch their incredible business. And then you find, when they're questioned, that they've invested already £100,000 of their savings for something so weird and that isn't going to obviously work. You think, well, creating something is quite hard. You could also pinch somebody else's idea as well. But whatever you do, when you try and get it up and running, there's costs. So there's maybe manufacturing, you might have to have premises, you've got overheads. There's huge amounts of cost in launching a business. So you need to get investment and access to funds to launch a normal business. But to create a residual income, you're going to have to expand and duplicate your business, open up another store, open up other avenues of manufacture somewhere, all huge costs. And you need managers running that business. So you need to be able to step away and get an income coming from your business. So to me, that was a no-no. You could buy an existing business, but again, you've got the same sort of costs, manufacturing, premises, overheads. Again, you've got to launch it. And again, to create a residual passive income, you need to expand and duplicate those businesses and have a manager running those businesses. So again, that was never going to be likely for me. We looked a lot at franchising back in the day. So franchises, if you're not aware, they're existing businesses. They're everywhere. They're ready-made, off-the-shelf businesses. They usually involve a really large initial investment, large monthly fees, and you're tied into them 24/7 for a long time to come. Now, again, to create a residual income, you need to buy additional franchises. We looked at several. I got offered several. One was Dynarod for clearing out drains, but Caroline said, I'm not having that fluorescent fan parked outside. So that didn't happen. Dynarod have got fluorescent vans. And there was no way we were going to, that was going to cost me nearly £45,000 to get started, to have a 24/7 business clearing drains. And I was beginning to get excited about it, but I soon came to my senses. The weirdest franchise we looked at was a franchise business where you invested £7,000, and what it was giant birthday cards or Christmas cards that were about 10 feet tall, made out of plywood, all lovely done. And what you had to do with them, people would rent them for an evening or for a morning or for 24 hours, and you had to drive to whoever's birthday it was, put it out on their front lawn at about 5 o'clock in the morning, creep off, and then come back the next day to pick it up. So you had to put it on the top of your car. Believe it, they wanted £7,000 for this idea, for this franchise. I don't think it actually lasted too long, but it was the wackiest one I saw. Was driving around delivering these giant birthday cards, and you were paying £7,000 to get into this. So there were a lot of there were all sorts of strange things out there where they were trying to take your money. So if you're not too familiar with franchises, pretty well most McDonald's, KFC's, Costas, Nero's, cleaning companies, driving instructors. You're talking most of the delivery companies, they're all franchised out. And normally with a driving instructor, what tends to happen is the first week of their income pays their monthly fee, and then they work for 3 weeks for themselves in a month. So you're really tied into investing. And again, to create a residual income so you can walk away, you need to buy other franchises. So you've got multiple ones and have managers in there to get an income coming back where your time is not involved. So we quickly backed off from franchises because some of them were just outrageous scams in our view, and just it would have meant you were tied in, mortgage to the hilt in terms of investment, and you'd be very difficult to get out. So then we discovered network marketing, and network marketing, once we started to learn and understand it, got us very excited, because it was a ready-made off-the-shelf business, which is what we wanted. It was small, if hardly any investment, so it wasn't a risk, an unrestricted residual income potential, a ready-made system, ongoing training and support, product-driven, great quality, on-demand, repeat orders. Now, not all network marketing businesses are like that. So what we've learned over the years, or what are really important things, I think, if people are looking for a network marketing business, is very much so product-driven. Needs to be really good quality, and if it's made by the company itself, that means they're in complete control of what the products are. The beauty industry specific to Oriflame is huge, and there's constant demand, and it's a repeat order business. So Oriflame has just ticked every single box going, and it was incredibly financially sound as well. And it has, understanding the industry over the years, it has, I think, probably the best pay plan now there is out there, and it is a ridiculously small investment. So it's there and readily available. And to create the residual income, it's all about sharing it and sponsoring people, and working the system, if you like, to create that residual income. And because the way Oriflame is now set up, particularly in the UK, I think we have an incredible opportunity, because with catalogues, there is way less than 1% coverage across the UK, so a massive opportunity. But with the stuff that's going to come over the next 5 years, opening up across the world for everyone, and obviously as we get our heads into digital, etc., we have a massive opportunity, and we don't have to do all the work in finding all the different tools to do all this. So the system is fantastic. So so I constantly reflect, this compared to conventional businesses, to franchises, etc. This gives you so much flexibility, but also so much potential. You just need to work at it, which is the same for all of those things. If you don't put any work in, none of it would work. So this applies to our business as well. So why network marketing? Because I think it is ultimately the best way of developing a business with minimal risk and biggest potential, as long as you pick the right horse to ride, which I think we all have. So that's why. But I just came across Jill's. You might have seen this before from Jill. Her circles, how the generations work. And I thought, well, funny enough, this is the same thing you would use if you're having a franchise and you wanted to build an empire. So you'd have the parent franchise, and you just buy. So the first level is buying lots of other franchises and so on. So you can create an empire of franchises. You can create an empire of businesses. But what you have to do if you do that, you have to have huge amounts of investment, huge amounts of overseeing what's going on. But with us, you don't need any investment to create an empire. You just need to tell a few people, show them how to get started, use the tools, and just work hard at it. You haven't got any of the risk, and it just compares incredibly against other ways of creating a residual income and a business. And if you're not seeing this in terms of the principle of duplication, because even in a franchise, that's what they look to do, is duplicate their franchise everywhere. McDonald's, that's the classic franchise and the classic duplication. They say a 15-year-old could run a McDonald's because the whole thing is completely systemized, and you can't do anything different within the system, which is why it works so well. And that really is sort of the same with us. The power of duplication, if you've not seen this, I think it's worth seeing it again if you have seen it. But if you were to sponsor one person, teach them how to do 300, why 300? Because it's doable. So if you've got a team of 2, the 600. When you get a team of 4, you duplicate, you've got 1200. And I'm not going to go all the way through it bit by bit, but you can see how it duplicates. And the incredible thing, over 17 campaigns, if you were to duplicate that 300 and teach other people to duplicate that 300, look at the figure at the bottom, it's huge. If you were just to do 1% of that, you'd have a turnover of just under 200,000 and income of about 100 grand a campaign. If you were to do, 0.5%, you'd have half that. At the end of the day, this thing is all about duplication. And if that's all you focused on, finding someone and help them get started, show them stuff that is doable. That's really the key. So it's doable, and teach them how to do it. That is so important. Then you're going to create something quite exciting over time. And going back to the old Coca-Cola, when you're team building any business, they only sold 25 bottles in their first year. So never ever give up. Yeah, that's me done on that. So I've just suddenly come out. Just going to stop sharing. I'm coming out. There we go. So if anybody's got any questions, fire away, but hopefully you found that a little bit useful. That's why I'm constantly excited about network marketing. If you look at it properly and you understand it as a comparison to other types of business out there, and the shortcomings and pitfalls from other businesses and other ways of creating residual income, we've got something fantastic. But that's partly because of the type of company we are. I can look at several networking companies, and I wouldn't come necessarily to the same conclusion. This one is the number one for so many different reasons. So stick with it, because if you do it right, this is going to be absolutely brilliant for everyone. Anyway, I'm done.
I think that's why we get so excited, isn't it? All of us that have been in network marketing a while. And Oriflame, as you said, just ticks every single box. So thanks for that. It was absolutely brilliant. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was fantastic. And just every time I see those numbers, it's just so exciting, isn't it? Just looking at the potential that we have. And it's all about just keeping it simple and duplicatable. And so
exactly, isn't it? Keeping it simple is key. And I think I was talking with one of the lasses, and she's got a small team, and she's been fearful of hand presenting. But from the last training, she's made the decision she can't expect others to do it if she doesn't do it herself.
yeah.
And she blanket drops, but again, the investment is quite high with our catalogues, isn't it? Because you've got the 3-week turnover. But what is so exciting with Andy's training is that it's once you've got the customer base, you just halve the amount of time that you're going out.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're investing your own time. You're not investing hard-earned cash.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is, I always think, just get off your bottom. You've done it.
That's it. Just go give it a go. Brilliant. Thanks, Andy. Yeah. Okay, so moving on then. Charlie, are you there? Where's Charlie? Oh, she's there. Sorry, I'd lost you there.
I am, but I'm aware that it's 9:08, so I'm happy to do it next week if you prefer.
Are you absolutely sure? Because I don't.
Absolutely.
I don't want you to rush it. But equally, I don't want you to, feel like you've prepared and you're not going to do it. But if you're happy, that would be absolutely perfect to do it next week.
I'm happy to do it next week. That's totally fine.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sorry, that's my fault. I went on too long.
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm quite happy to do it next week.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it would be a shame for you to rush it now, and so do it next week, and that'll be absolutely perfect if that's okay with you. Fantastic. So has anybody got anything they want to ask Andy, or anything they want to mention? Was that somebody shouting up then? Sorry. No, I thought I heard someone. If anybody's got anything they want to bring up, anybody they want to recognize, any little tips that they've got for the last 2 minutes of the evening. If not, I'll just tell you that I did my little doorstep trick again today, and we sold a couple of things on Facebook Marketplace again. So a couple of little ready beds for £5 each, little sleeping bags in a bag, like that you blow up for camping. So they were too small, they were children's ones. So put them on Facebook, had so many inquiries. And I think that's the thing. If you put something for quite cheap, you get loads and loads of response. So I'm still getting them now. I'm reluctant to mark it sold because we're still getting the inquiries coming in. So first of all, the man that came to collect it was collecting for his wife, who had all the chat with. So of course, I'd sent him home with a catalogue for the wife to look at, and his face was like, oh God, no, wait till she sees this. It was hilarious. I said, oh, is this a big mistake? He's like, yeah, too right. Wait till she gets hold of this. So that's a promising sign in the first place. But another little thing I did with this catalogue was, instead of just writing the beauty store link, which I always do, and say order online here, or text me what you want, I just decided to write out at the bottom, if you're interested in becoming a brand partner, please just look at this website. So you just never know, do you, where that catalogue's going to end up? And she might think, oh, I love the look of these products, I might have a little check out of that. So I'm just adding that one to the ones I'm giving out. Or you can just give a business card, obviously, if you attach a business card to them. But I do that with my old ones, but this was a brand new catalogue, so I've written it on. But the other thing I'm thinking of now is, because I've had all these inquiries, I've got all those people in my messenger, so I can send all the other ones that didn't get to come and get the item offers a message and a digital catalogue. So I'm quite there's another thing we're selling as well, just a vase, again, for £5, and it's like, I've had so many messages saying, is this still available? So just a little tip for you, just to add to your contacts. And it could be like a little Oriflame product, for £3. I've done that before with a lipstick and had loads and loads of responses. Or we've got quite a lot of products, haven't we, that we can put on just for even £2. It's worth it just to get those people messaging you and coming to the door. So yes, so if nobody else wants to share anything, then we'll call it a day at that. Thank you all for coming on. Thanks, Andy, that was a fantastic training tonight. And I urge you all to go out and just try a catalogue presenting this week. Just let's have a little challenge. Let's go and even just do just do your first one, and then put in the group that you've done it. And I bet you'll all find that it was, much easier than you actually thought. It's the thought about it. If you just go and do it, just tell yourself you're going to do it, and then give yourself a little reward after. Let's just see how many of us can go and present a catalogue that haven't. It's got to be somebody that hasn't done it before. What was that, Jill? Was that you, Jill?
No, it wasn't me, but I've been talking to someone, and I'm smiling because her daughter does Avon, but she's not very happy. So I'm potentially recruiting while I'm in Spain. So.
Still working even while you're on holiday. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and if that's a fantastic challenge to everyone, is to get your first one done. So whether you can wait for me to do this little video, I'll try and get it done so by the end of the week, just so you can see how we do it and what we say.
Okay.
And then you can just copy, and then that'll be good for next Monday to find out how many people have had a crack. Just take 2 catalogues out and see what happens.
Yeah, just
see what happens.
For everybody that gives it a try and comes back and says that they've done it, I'll put you all into a draw and somebody can win a prize.
Great idea.
Brilliant.
So, you've got a week to go and do that, and if you get out there and you do it and you find, oh wow, that was a doddle, go and do loads more. Just go and build yourself up some customers. But I'll reward everybody that does even just one, even just tries it this week. You can go into the draw. Okay. Brilliant. Thanks everyone. Fantastic Zoom. We'll see you on Wednesday night. Have a great week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.